Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. And Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Good. Okay, sounding good, looking good, feeling good. Everybody good? So Lane Kiffin introduces LSU's head coach. Thought it was good, man. He was he was I think humble and honest, at times funny and charming. I thought he did a really good job. So I don't know that many people have ever failed the introductory press conference. You know, it's generally a pretty friendly environment. And, there's applause in a press conference, at introductory press conferences, because it's interesting. They have, it's not just media. So the room is split. So I don't know if you could tell if you were watching, but if you've never been in South Stadium Club, it's a large open space. The width of the field, right? I mean, you're looking out into Tiger Stadium from the South Stadium Club end zone. And so actually the way Lane had it set up the way they had it set up for Lane is the backdrop was actually with his back toward Nicholson. I'm sorry, toward South Stadium Drive. And so he, standing at the podium, is looking out at the crowd and looking at the field at Tiger Stadium. And there was probably 100 chairs, maybe more than that, actually. And they had it split down the middle. So the right side was like, from his vantage point, the right side was like invited, just down the middle to the right was invited guests. So the board, boosters, family, administrators, all that sort of, they were all there. And middle left was all media. So it's just interesting to be in a press conference where there's applause. I know that's not, I mean, I sit in hundreds of press conferences. I know it's not weird for you all, but like when you do it all the time and there's no applause, it's a working environment. So anyways, but all that to say, like, it's very friendly. Nobody ever fails the introductory press conference. But I thought he was really good. So, a few of the things that I thought were interesting, he did mention subtly that Nick Saban steered him to LSU. I asked him the question about NIL, and he said, the salaries. And he said there were 4 places. So it was obviously Ole Miss, LSU, Florida, and there was another one. Now, Ross Dellinger intimated that he thought that might be Penn State, but Lane wouldn't tell him who the 4th one was. That was interesting. But he said the salaries at all 4 were similar. The NIL packages were not. So, y'all, for more than a week now, I've been trying to steer y'all to go listen to that Locked On episode I did on that Saturday after the contract terms leaked, because the contract terms are part of it. But the other part of it, what I did was talked about the NIL component of it. I knew that was a big part. We had enough people close to Lane tell me that was a big part of it. So that's why I knew to ask the question, got the answer he gave. I'm glad he gave a really good answer to it. But if you're interested, go check that out. It's the Locked On episode about his contract from last Saturday. So I guess now 2 Saturdays ago. Anyway, so Lane's introduced. He was asked about his staff. He didn't go into any detail, which I understand was also the question needed to be worded better. It was open-ended, like, what can you tell us about? And it needed to be, and I had one written down that I would have asked when I got the microphone one time, but the question needed to be, can you confirm a report that you're retaining Blake Baker? Something along those lines. Asking a specific question, but the question was asked, I forgot who asked it, but it was asked open-ended, like, what can you tell us about your staff? Well, naturally he dodged it. But there was a report that Charlie Weiss Jr. has signed. Wilson Alexander, the Advocate, had it that Charlie Weiss Jr. signed his contract. So 3 years, $2 million per. So 3 years, $6 million. So that's done. Wait on the rest. If we'll start to talk about what it could look like at defensive coordinator if with obviously Pete Golding staying at Ole Miss, and if Blake Baker does get the Tulane job, like put that on your radar a while ago, y'all, that he was going to be up for it. I mean, he was thought to be a front runner a year ago. Had John Summerall gotten the North Carolina job, and so not surprising that Blake interviewed for Tulane. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it. The first name that I would tell you to remember is DJ Durkin. Durkin he's a good defense coordinator. He was just the interim at Auburn. And Durkin was with Lane his first 2 years at Ole Miss. And so there's a history there. And my understanding is DJ Durkin is not happy that he did not get the Auburn job. So I wouldn't be surprised obviously new coach there now is Golish. I don't know if Durkin stays to work for Golish or if he bounces. And so if Blake Baker gets the Tulane job, then maybe Golish Durkin ends up as LSU's DC. Possible it'll connect the dots there. So we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Let's go ahead and say some good mornings here. Good morning. Thomas, good morning. Clayton, good morning. Bubba, good morning. Peyton, good morning. South Louisiana Armin, good morning. Jacob, what up, man? Good morning. Weston, good morning. With Ole Miss being ticked at Lane, do you think Landry stays enrolled there? I don't know the answer to that. I'll tell you, Landry was there and Witt was there. So Witt was sitting in the front row right next to Landry with the family. So good graces of the family, I suppose. Hey, Sean, good morning. Hope you finally got some rest. I slept for about 6.5 hours last night. So better than I've done the past few nights. So yes, feeling much better today. Yet yesterday at the end of AFR, you ever get like to a point where you're tired to where you feel nauseous, like you're so tired you're nauseous. That's how I felt yesterday after AFR. Like I needed to go sleep for a long time. So Josh, my number one sports show, love you. Thank you, Josh. Very kind, man. Thanks for being there. Morning, Matt. Is there a scenario if Baker's offered Tulane, he'd stay at LSU's DC? So here's one. So John Summerall is making $3 million a year. If they hire Blake Baker, it would probably be for $4 million. He's making $2.5 million right now. So the question Blake Baker would have to answer is, do you stay at LSU as the DC making $2.5 million, maybe get a bump, whatever, and try to go straight from LSU to a Power 4 job like Dan Lanning did, Kirby did, Marcus Freeman, Ryan Day. Now they were promoted at the places they were, Sharon Moore. But again, coordinator straight to a major Power 4 job. Do you wait for that opportunity? Dave Aranda did that. He went from LSU to Baylor. So I guess the thought is if you're Baker, do you sit tight? Do you stay put, knowing you're going to have some offensive help next year? Or do you jump for an opportunity to go be head coach at your alma mater? And you can also make the case, like, look at the last two Tulane coaches, right? Fritz getting into the Big 12, and now look at Summerall going to Florida after 2 years. So do you spend another year or two as the LSU's DC, or do you go become a head coach at Tulane, cut your teeth there for a couple of years in a good program that's ready-made to win, or, and start your head coaching journey at your alma mater? Be interesting. My thought is that if he's offered the job, I think he takes it. I haven't talked to Blake about that, but stands to reason. I know he wants to be a head coach. Absolutely. I've had that conversation with him. I think he's probably said that on the record before, so that shouldn't come as any great surprise. So if he's offered it, I think he'll take it. But I think that's probably the pitch LSU makes is, hey, stay here for another year or two, you'll get the support that you need from the offense. Obviously, with Kiffin coming here, um, and then go straight from LSU to a power forward head coaching job. I think that's probably the pitch to him. So we'll see how it goes. I know Blake's family loves Baton Rouge. His wife was an LSU soccer player who's from Mandeville. Um, I know his kids love it here. Um, so I think there's a lot that could keep him here, but I don't think that's an easy decision. I think ultimately, if he's offered the head coaching job at his alma mater, he probably takes it. Hey, Curtis, good morning. Who'd that go Tigers? The train is on the track. Jarrett, understand the move and all. Lane had life-changing, but he looked very regretful yesterday. I think there's conflicting emotions for sure. I think he very much I don't think he was necessarily leaving for the better opportunity because that's part of this profession. Um, every coach that's ever taken a job anywhere has left a place where they were employed and recruited players and all that sort of stuff. So that's just part of the profession. Um, the circumstances around this one, I think, would make it so difficult, and um, it's unique in the truest sense. I mean, you've never had it. I mean, it's only the second year of the 12-team playoffs. So it's the first time you've had a coach whose team is going to be in the 12-team playoff leave before the season ended. So it just literally never happened. Excellent question and pressure. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I obviously knew. I don't know if y'all got the gist, but kind of knew a lot about this search and all the goings on for a long time of it. I knew the NIL thing was a huge thing to Lane. So I'm glad he could have deflected it, but I'm glad he answered it the way he gave about a 3-minute answer to that question, which was amazing. West Louisiana. What's going on? Morning, Matt. Do you think Lane took any other job Ole Miss would let him coach like they wouldn't because he went to a rival? No. I think the point would have been the same. Like, you can't be the coach of someone else and still coach their team. You can't be recruiting for LSU and making calls and getting ready for the portal and organizing the roster for LSU and be the Ole Miss coach. You can't do them both. Who's your choice for DC? Yeah, just talked about that. I think DJ Durkin will probably be at or near the top of the list. Dude is definitely funny. Chances Alex Grinch will be DC. Yeah, Dale, I don't know, but I will. I'd probably not be too keen on that, considering the lack of success Alex Grinch had at. I mean, that was always the knock when he was at OU. Was his defenses were awful. There from 2019 to 2021 when he was there with Lincoln. And then he went to Wisconsin. He's at UCF right now, but so he did. So he went with Lincoln from OU to USC and had the same issues. And then spent last year at Wisconsin and this year at UCF. I would not really be okay with that. Let's see. 318 Tiger Boys. Daniel Roof. Morning, Matt. Ready to watch some up-tempo offense. Christian, morning. Lane seemed to be handling the media tour pretty well. He usually really weird in press conferences. I don't know, man. I think he can be really good in those things when he wants to be. I think is a good way to put it. When he's on, and he was on yesterday. It's morning, Matt. Any news on Blake Baker? When was he missed players transferred? Blake. So remember, the transfer portal doesn't open until January 2nd. So that you can't start making contact now. tampering happens everywhere. Um, Lane can't pick up the phone and call players. However, LSU's front office, be it Austin Thomas or now Billy Glasscock, who's coming over as GM, can certainly be talking to agents, again, which is the way that this all works now. So before a player hits the portal, they'll know what options are there already. Um, so, and I had a really interesting call last night. And it was very encouraging about the number of people that have stepped up because the way it was phrased when you think about staff, like you can't pay everybody, right? I mean, like the Frank Wilson thing is an interesting thing right now that we have to watch because Frank is your running backs coach. Now, Kevin Smith has been with Lane for almost a decade from FAU to Ole Miss. And Lane wants Kevin Smith to join him in Baton Rouge, along with Garrison, the offensive line coach. And those two coaches were not here. They did not get on the plane, but their wives flew in yesterday. And I know Lane, and I think they both would have to come. And I know Lane would, wants them here. I get the sense that maybe they're not super keen on moving again. But this is the interesting thing with Frank, right? If Frank isn't the running backs coach, well, George McDonald came over as the receivers coach. So what do you do with Frank? And I do not believe that Frank would take an off-field role. So, do you potentially lose Frank Wilson? And then if you lose Frank Wilson, what does that mean for Harlan Berry? Richard Anderson, the big 5-star defensive tackle, who I know affirmed his commitment to LSU, but that was under the assumption Frank Wilson was going to be here. Frank's not here. That changes. So I think they got to make a decision quickly on what they're going to do with specifically with Frank Wilson on staff here with signing day tomorrow. Oh, but the call that was, sort of to say, I mean, Frank makes a lot of money and you can't pay everybody. But it was like, but the LSU donors have stepped up big time. So there is obviously a lot of excitement around this hire. So I think they'll be able to swing it financially however they need to. Lane State in full effect. Hey, Thomas, interested to see what Lane Kiffin does with Juwan Johnson. Yeah, good question. Do you think Kiffin will give Keelan Williams more playing time after he gives the ball to Tommy Banks? Maybe. And throws it to the tight end. Tiger Poppy, you got it. Thanks. Let's see. Heard Joel Klatt say the brand doesn't matter and all you need is money. Seems like you're the only one who recognizes new rev share. Yeah, yes. I just think there's a lot of people that don't have those levels of conversation. And to Joel, I didn't hear what Joel Klatt said, and I'm going to care what Joel Klatt says. But the point being, especially when you're national, I think it's what I explain all the time. You have a surface level understanding of a lot of different things. You don't have deep understanding of any particular school or program or what's going on. You have to know a little bit about a lot of things instead of a lot about one thing. That's my point. Like, I couldn't tell you anything about Cal. I know they fired Justin Wilcox. It looks like they're going to hire Tosh Lupoy. Like, I don't know what's going on at Wake Forest. I know everything about LSU. Does it make sense?
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Okay, Parish Construction Roofing. By the way, so if you're wondering why we're running a little late today, So we have our Moscona family Christmas pictures here at 8:30. And then I'm heading over to Parish. So we are I'm excited about today. I mean, we told you about the 12 days of Christmas we're doing where we teamed with Duplessis Builders, Chris's Specialty Foods, and Ruckus um, to help 12 families have a merrier Christmas. So today is the day we get to today's the day that the families are coming to the parish office to do we're going to hand them their gifts and photo optional. So we'll start announcing the winners and all that sort of stuff here in a few days. But actually a week from yesterday. But today's the day we get to all be at the parish office. It'll be such a fun day, man, to get to see all these families and excited about it. So that's today. Morning, Matt. Really enjoyed the press conference. Lane seems like a humble, genuine man, not the loose cannon he once was at all. I think he's definitely matured. That's fair. The other things I don't know, I don't know well enough to say. And like I said, an introductory press conference, if you fail the introductory press conference, you suck. I mean, it is a very friendly thing. Hey, Brandon, comments on Coach O seem telling. Could actually be a return. Seems like it. I mean, I don't think he would have mentioned it by name if that wasn't at least a possibility. And I know Coach O is in Baton Rouge. So I don't know how much more I'm at liberty to say, but they have talked, and Coach O is in Baton Rouge with the possibility of that happening. Mike, good morning. Better watch it. If you keep providing all that outstanding coverage, ST Network will be calling to take you away. Yeah, I'm sure. Tell Erica. Yeah, tell Erica we're moving to Charlotte. But thank you. It's very kind. Hey, Bruce, good morning. Big Mill, good morning. Hey, trivia, did you know we were Ole Miss's biggest, most hated rival? Well, from their perspective, yes. I mean, you would think it's the Egg Bowl for them, being that it's in state. But the thing about Ole Miss is Ole Miss looks down at Mississippi State and views themselves more on par with LSU. Like, yeah, Mississippi State is in our state, but we're better than them. We're more on par with LSU. It's kind of how they perceive it. Almost like, this isn't a great analogy, but almost like how LSU would look down at Tulane and see themselves on par with Bama, which we know is not. Is it 39 degrees right now? Oh my God. Are you serious? I'm going to freeze in these pictures. Feels like 32. Ugh. Can the sun please come up and warm things up like 10 degrees? By the way, I do have to go on Sirius XM with Doring and Peter Burns here in 9 minutes. So, oh, look, some super chats. Any truth to Lane telling no to Coach O? I have not. No, that's cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. I have not heard that he said no. What I have not heard yet is anyone at LSU saying that's happening or that's green lighted or that's okay. I've not heard. Like, I saw the report, which I'm sure is agent driven, about returning, but I've not heard anything from. I mean, yes, Lane saying it yesterday was interesting because he has to know that report is out there, and to say it by name is interesting. Was Jay Johnson and Mulkey there? That would have been a powerful introduction to Lane. I did not see Kim. Jay was there. I saw Beth Tarina. I did not see Matt McMahon. He might have been there, but they might have been practicing. That might be Mulkey. That's true. Mulkey and McMahon, they're probably practicing. But Jay was there. Beth Tarina was there. I mean, all the football assistants were there. I mean, tons of people there. I mean, it was every, person in position of leadership in the school and athletic administration were all there. Top 5 offense, here we go. Warn him out, all the right things were said. Great time to be a Tiger fan. It was UCLA. What was UCLA? Fourth place was Auburn. Oh, no, I don't know who the other school was. Yeah, I don't know that it was Auburn. I mean, Ross Dellinger said his intimation was that it was Penn State. But that Lane would never go there because it was cold. Hey, Glenda, good morning. Tandy Kane, you asked a great question at the press conference. Lane said to himself, he did. He did. I was very glad he gave a good answer to it. Hey, Lars, good morning. Corey, good morning. You should have asked him if it does work. And it does work. Morning, Matt. Great coverage of the service. Hiring a Kiffin. Thank you, Guy. Appreciate it, man. Sergeant King, good morning. Let's see. Is it Brian? I gave him a B- at the press conference. Mostly decent. I have reservations. Okay. What are your reservations? I'm curious. Hey, Joel. I find it surprising Saban would recommend taking the LSU job so strongly. Makes you wonder why I didn't recommend Lane for Bama 2 years ago. He did that job, so. Yeah, I don't know about Bama. Maybe Lane didn't want to replace Saban, and maybe 2 years ago, Lane wasn't as attractive a candidate. Hmm. Hmm. Anyway, all right, I got only a few more minutes left because I got to go do Sirius XM here for 7:30. Brian Broom, I don't have any update on Blake. He said, good question. Candace enjoyed the story with Coach O. It was funny. Cade just finished locked on from last night. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. One of the first people he called was Ed O. Moving up here in Knoxville. Oh boy, next year is going to be interesting when LSU shows up. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. So LSU is going to go to Tennessee and to Ole Miss next year. Oh, ho, ho. Okay. Lane's spirit animal is a tiger. Mandy, I mean, let's not forget, he said to your question, that's a great question. Y'all are very complimentary of my question. Bob, good morning. Hope you can give Governor Jeff Landry credit for the good hires he made before Lane Kiffin was hired. I don't know if you're serious. That's a little hilarious. Good morning, Matt. From Whiteville, Virginia. You know what this reminds me of when Bobby Boucher came back in the second half to look the coach the other side saying, crap, they're back. Bobby Boucher came back at halftime and won a Bourbon Bowl? Morning, Matt. If we lose Baker, can we consider Glenn Schumann? I don't think Glenn Schumann would leave Georgia for another defensive coordinator job in the conference. I think Glenn Schumann would leave Georgia for a head coaching job, which may happen at some point in this cycle. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, if Blake leaves, Durkin would probably be the guy. I mentioned that at the beginning of the show today. As I understand, Durkin is not super pumped that he didn't get the Auburn job, and Durkin was Lane's DC for 2 years at Ole Miss when he first got there. So I think that would be certainly an option near the top. Okay, y'all, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube. I'll get them tagged on Facebook as well. If you know Peach, go to Brock. Remember, Parish Construction and Roofing. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness, restored motions, Bocock Brothers premium cigars, everything's scrolling here on the bottom. I have my Locked on LSU live. I will get you I'll see what I can find out about Blake Baker, and I'll try to get you an episode around noon today of Locked on LSU about Baker. And of course, we'll have everything we know on AFR 3 today. Y'all have a great day.